All right, well, hey everyone, it's Rebecca Ruth here. Thanks for tuning in and catching another episode here. Today I have Whitley Nabintu Marshall with me. How are you, Whitley?
Hi, I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Doing well, and thanks so much for joining me and chatting a little bit with Worthy
Of
today.
course. Thank you for inviting me here. I'm so excited.
Of course, of course. Well, I'm famous for jumping right into it. So, Whitley, tell us
Perfect.
a little bit about where you are and what you do in the industry.
Sure. I live in Portland, Maine. I am International Ms. New England, hence the crown. And aside from being in the pageant scene, I am going to be launching Artlovelifestyle Magazine this September. I also am doing a series of message-based photo shoots coming up, which is how you and I met. And those focus on the markers of true beauty, which I would consider compassion, diversity, all shapes, colors, shades, sizes, and yeah, just doing some photo shoots with an emphasis on that so that we can get them out to the world and show an expanded view of beauty standards.
That's awesome. I love that. I love the idea of the photo shoot. So I'm going to ask you more questions about the photo shoot. But so I'm getting pretty new to like kind of getting introduced more and more to the pageant world. So Miss International New England, you said?
Yeah, International Ms. New England. It's actually a fairly new pageant system. This is its 5th year anniversary. They plan it around New York Fashion Week events. So I'm extremely honored. I'm going to be at Fashion Week this year. I'll be modeling in a few different runway shows. And also I'm honored to be on the cover of Art and Beauty magazine, and I'll be on a billboard. So it's going to be kind of a crazy experience for me going to New York, seeing myself on a billboard, and kind of getting this VIP treatment through the Beauty It's Everywhere showcase. So
yeah, that's super exciting. Congratulations.
thank you.
But that's really exciting. And like now that I'm getting to know people, more and more people in the pageant world and stuff. So now like, I follow and I'm like, y'all really do like, do it up. Like I'm like, oh, okay. So they really do like pull out the red carpet and it's like,
Oh yeah, it's the big time. I mean,
yeah.
I'm pretty new to the pageant scene myself. This is my 3rd pageant I'll be competing in. I competed in the Mrs. Maine America pageant system before. And so it's really kind of been a whirlwind learning this whole new world of pageantry, but it's really been eye-opening and really helped me really clarify my vision and make goals that I really want to achieve and help me implement them through just trying to be the best version of myself. And for me, a big part of that is being my authentic self in this, like me as a pageant queen.
So did you grow up doing pageant? No, you said this is your only 3rd pageant. So
no, I did my first pageant at age 34.
Okay. So what made you, because I have a friend who is now in the pageant world at age, well, she just turned 43 last year, and it was kind of the same thing. Like, never thought that
is so awesome.
this world at this age.
Yeah.
But so what made you go into the pageant world?
I was recruited to compete, and I was completely shocked, to be honest with you. And so, but because it was so out of the ordinary for me, that's part of what made me know that it was something I had to do. I was like, when am I ever going to have this chance to model in pageantry and get in front of this audience that I would never be in front of?
That's true.
With my other audiences, because I'm a performer, I'm a dancer. I dance at a lot of festivals and events, and I co-direct the Barefoot Truth Dance Company. So I've been on stage in a number of ways, and I've modeled for various things before, but pageantry is a whole different ballgame.
Right. Yeah, like I am learning, like I said, I'm learning the pageant world, like I have obviously the fashion industry like background, but I am understanding more. It's completely different. Like they coincide, but it is a different world. So
It is.
I'm learning with with my friends and stuff in the world, in the pageant world. So that's really cool. That's really cool. I agree with you that sometimes it's like opportunities come up that you probably wouldn't have pursued on your own.
Yeah.
But I have the same mindset that if an opportunity is coming my way, that probably means, yeah, because it's like when else? Like, why not?
Right. Exactly.
Like it's like, opportunities don't come all every day. So take them while they're there, enjoy it, and
Right.
just
Learn from it,
learn from it, right? Have
grow.
fun with it, grow if nothing else, meet new people, like,
Exactly. Growth doesn't happen in your comfort zone generally. That's what I sort of live by. So
yeah,
it definitely pushed me to the edges of my comfort zone, but I've grown so much through it. And so now
absolutely. That's
I'm in
awesome.
love.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, so you're international Miss New England. So what would you be competing for? Like what's the next?
I would be competing for International Ms. So it's an international pageant. And then they also have, they'll be crowning both International Ms. USA and International Mrs. USA. So
Oh,
that's actually a change with this year is that they'll have both the Ms. and Mrs. crowning.
got it. Okay. Yeah, my friend just won Miss Virginia uh
Oh,
here. So yeah. So that was like
congrats to her.
yeah, it's like super exciting. So yeah.
That's so
Well,
exciting.
awesome. But yeah, so what made me reach out to you was the post I saw on Facebook about this photo shoot that you want to do. And I was like, oh, I need to hear more about this photo shoot. So tell us
Yeah.
a little bit about this photo shoot.
Yeah, so I'm, as I explained earlier, I'm launching Art Love Lifestyle Magazine, and I've done this series actually before. Pre-COVID, I did a series of these true beauty photo shoots, and so yeah, the whole goal is to expand people's vision of what beauty is, really highlight the important values behind beauty to me, and open it up to a much more diverse group of models than you normally would see as models. So I'm really excited about it. For this upcoming one, the Beauty Comes in All Shapes and Sizes photo shoot. We're both going to be doing an in-person photo shoot here in Maine, as well as taking submissions internationally for a cover contest. So for the magazine. So I'm super excited about that. We've been sort of clarifying the details of all of it, but we'll have submissions due in August for the September issue.
Awesome. And like who can be part of this? Like who can, be part of the
Literally anyone. A lot of people have asked whether it's just women,
right.
if men are open to it, if non-binary and trans LGBTQ community could be involved. I really want to see a much more expanded version, that just a uniquely inclusive culture is what I hope to create through Art Love Lifestyle, where people feel open to submit and be part of the beauty industry with people who wouldn't normally feel like they would be able to fit into that category or into that box of beauty that we've seen for most of our time.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
really just starting to break through, which
Sorry.
makes me
Right.
happy seeing that. But I also know you have to really kind of put it out there. Um, it's important just being there, being present, taking up space in those different bodies and in those different categories, and also across cultures, be it multiculturally through international cultures,
Mhm.
or whether it be the LGBTQ community or otherwise.
Yeah. Like I think that's really cool because I mean, like you said, we are the industry is doing better, and they're you know, it's getting to that point where we're getting more inclusive and stuff like that. Like I think I saw you know, a couple weeks ago that Gucci had their first model and with Down syndrome. I think I don't know if she was on the runway or just like the ad campaign, but in any case,
That's awesome
you
though.
know, and I'm like, that's super cool. And it's like, and I love, you know, I was actually talking to someone about this the other day because she likes to refer to herself as a curvy girl. And like we were even talking about that, like, you know, just that basic of like, you know, the average size for a woman is actually like a size 14, I think it is.
Right.
So it's like, but yeah, we're asking all these women to be like a size 2 and a size
Hmm.
4, size 0 even. And we're like, if that's your size, that's fine, of course.
Right.
But like, we're asking you to go from average, which is 14, down to 2.
Right.
And then
Exactly.
making you feel bad that you're not that 2. When
Hmm.
really I'm okay, you're okay at all sizes. But you know what I mean? So it's like just that mindset of like that doesn't even logically make sense. It doesn't make sense that that has
Exactly.
been the expectation and that has been the norm and all that stuff.
Hmm.
So I'm like, I am proud of the industry in the sense that they are trying. But yeah, I think it takes things like this, things to kind of
Hmm.
like push push it a little bit more and just
Yeah.
okay, you're doing a good job. It's a good start. Let's keep going. Let's push this a
Exactly.
little more.
Yeah, I've been anywhere from a size 2 to a size 18 in my lifetime. And interestingly, I've received both positive and negative feedback in all of those sizes. And so you literally can really, what I've found is I have to be comfortable with myself and just focus on making healthy choices for myself that help me be my best self, um, as healthy as possible. And, like that doesn't necessarily mean eating a specific diet, but just eating to energize,
Right,
eating to do things, strengthening to strengthen and help me be a better dancer, things to condition my body for specific things instead of like, I need to be a size 2 or want my thighs to look thinner, which sometimes those can be, things that are a result of some of those healthy
right,
choices, but
right,
um, the focus is shift was extremely important for me, from looking a certain way to treating myself a certain
right.
way, and
Oh, I like
from
that.
that into a self-care type of mentality and
Yeah, I like
self-love.
that. I like that a lot. But no, like I love it. Like it, you know, my ears and eyes always perk up when I see anything like that. So I definitely, when I saw your post, I was like, I mean, I have to get myself out of my comfort zone. So at
Yeah.
first, and you know, and it still is that way. I'm like, well, it may not be me, but like I know people who would be great for this because I still like sometimes I think, you know, because I started out in the industry as a model and I was like, no, 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 no. I don't like the in front of the camera thing, whatever. But then at the same time, just like you, I'm like, I challenge myself to get out of my comfort zone as well and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So, but I remember reaching out to you like, yeah, it may not be me, but like I may know people want to do it. And, you know, it would
Well,
be
personally, I think you should also do it. But also something that I would love to see is groups of, people getting together of all different ages, sizes, backgrounds, and turning it into an empowering event
yeah,
for themselves and for others, and showing people the true beauty that lies within all of us.
yeah.
That's really my vision behind it all, is, if people copy the idea, I'm like, go for it,
Right.
do the thing.
No, I think it's amazing. In one way or another, like I definitely do want to be involved. I probably will get myself out of my comfort zone because like for me, like I've been asked to, I've actually gotten myself on a runway. Like I was asked to be in a runway show and I did it. So like
Awesome.
I'm willing to do it, but I'm also a lot more willing to do it when there's a message behind it and a message
Hmm.
like I stand behind and I support. So I'm like, well, this is about sending a message. So I'm like, yeah, I'm probably more willing to do it then. But no, regardless, I'm like, it's amazing. And that's literally what made me like stop and like, who is this lady? So yeah. But no, I think it's cool. The other thing that made me stop and just super curious about you was that I recognize your middle name as being African because I'm African. And I was like, well, unless she's South African, she's not African. So I'm like, where did she get this African name from? So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, when I first moved to Maine, I was interestingly centered right in the center of the Central and East African community. I was invited to sing in an African gospel choir where we sang in about 5 different languages. And through that, I started picking up on some of the languages and became really just fascinated by really how the arts really lead to transformation and connection and bridging communities across all denominations, cultural boundaries, in war-torn areas. And so I really, especially with the Rwandan, Burundian, Congolese community, was just fascinated at how they have experienced some of the most extreme, most traumatic events that I could ever imagine and would never, ever hope for anyone, and how they would express such joy in their dances and their art and through their cultural gatherings. So I moved to Burundi in 2007. I was given the name, I have a fatherly influence who gave me the name Nabintu. He he gave it to me because I helped take care of him. He came on a medical visa and had polyps removed from his nose, and I helped take care of him post-op. And my name, Whitley, is so hard to pronounce from pretty much any French-speaking nation or community. So he's like, what does Whitley even mean? And I was like, white meadow. And he's like, that doesn't mean anything. You need a name of power. And so he gave me the name Nabintu, which means prosperity. And he explained that it's somebody who has many gifts, talents, and blessings. So I'm extremely honored to have that name and have been given that name. And so when I lived in Burundi, his family was actually living there as well. They hadn't come to the United States yet. And I lived with a pastor. I worked in a neighborhood clinic, and I did some excursions to more rural communities working on some tribal reconciliation and peace programs. And so there's a whole group of people that only know me as Nabintu.
Yeah. That's, I mean, honestly, it's inspiring to me because, like, first of all, it's beautiful. And I always tell people of any race that you should go to Africa at least once, because I honestly, and not just because I'm from there, but I honestly feel like there's no other continent like Africa. The spirit of the people and the rich culture and everything. Like, I was like, it's hard to even describe, you
Right.
just have to go. So I encourage everyone to make at least one trip to Africa in your lifetime. So, and also because, and I know, this happens to other countries, but I also feel like Africa gets a bad rep in most of the world, because it's like we only highlight like the terrible war
Exactly.
and stuff, but we're not talking about like the things that you've experienced and the love and the family and the community and like the forever family that you have coming out of Africa and stuff like that, So I love that. I love that you got to experience Africa in that way, but also you inspire me because, like, I talked about this in my I'm very transparent, but like, you inspire me because, like, for years I refused to even use my African name. Like, and I actually
it's one of the sad things that I see here.
Yeah, like I refused to use it. I legally made it my middle name, or one of my middle names, because I'm African, so we have like 5. But I legally made it one of my middle names because I was so embarrassed by it. And it's just in the last couple of years that I've been like, well, no, like my African name is, Bundu and stuff like that. So it's like, it's inspiring to me to like have you be like, no, I'm proud of this name, and I'm proud to use this name. I'm proud that this, means a lot. So I'm like, well, I should be, if she's proud, like I should be proud too. Like, so
you really should. And I remember, like, kids are so cruel, especially I feel like in the US. I do kind of believe that it goes across cultures. Like, kids like to make fun of each other, and bullying doesn't have anything necessarily, any specific culture behind it. But it just makes me sad because I do see that play out in a lot of white communities, of anyone from any other background. If they have a different name, it's like they laugh about it, or anytime they feel uncomfortable, there should be more of an embracing or encouraging among children, really,
right.
to embrace one another and find the special parts of our culture and the special meanings behind our names, and really just encourage embracing them and loving all people. I mean, it really goes back to compassion for
Right.
me, is I really truly believe that compassion will solve all of the world's problems.
I believe that as well. Like, it's kind of funny because I do believe that, and a lot of people are like, well, that's so very cliche that you guys are saying.
It is.
But I'm
Yeah.
like, but it's honestly true. I mean, like, most of conflict in this world is on just people just being unkind, being hateful, being like, and a lot of times, most of the time, where you don't need to be. You don't have to be unkind and hateful and all these things, like,
and a lot of it's just fear of the unknown,
right? And like major huge conflicts in the history of our world have been out of hate and fear and all these things when it wasn't necessary. So I mean,
yeah.
But that leads me to your I'm gonna butcher is it conversations and compassion?
Oh, it's okay, I can explain it. So just this past year, I collaborated with someone. So I went to Rwanda in 2019 and was volunteering with an organization called Root Foundation. And amazingly, small world, the founder of Root Foundation moved to Maine just 5 months later, and or no, 4 months later, and he ended up moving into our house, actually.
Wow.
But we co-founded World Roots Culture Exchange. So one of our big goals was to take something like some of the roots of Root Foundation and put them into our society to help both immigrants with integration into American society, but as well as create connections from Americans to various cultures and help them really learn and grow from other people's cultures and cultural exchange. And so our sort of tagline is to bridge communities through the arts and cultural exchange. And we dream of having an art center where we would have both a cafe, an art studio, a dance studio, and a retail space. So the cafe would support both local farmers as well as immigrant communities. And we would serve international cuisine and feature artists and dancers and performers from all various cultures, and do things to really help that connection and help people gain connections to help live their fullest potentials as well.
That's awesome.
Give some people hope to live out some of the dreams because some people come to the US and they were doctors, or like I know someone.
Yep. Oh, you froze a little.
You're frozen.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there we go.
You were frozen. You were freezing too. So I was like, oh, maybe she'll come back. There we go. Go ahead. You're saying some people, because I think I know you're going, like, some people come over, but in their country, they were like doctors and,
Exactly. And then they'll lose hope in the period of time when they move here. They're not allowed to work for usually at least 9 months while they're waiting for a work visa.
right.
And so and then they have to work a minimum wage job, not working in the profession that they were working in. It's not exactly the dream they were envisioning of, the US dream.
Right.
So part of what our mission is to give those people hope, help them connect with people that might be in those industries that they're a part of, and connect to them so that and give them achievable steps to really reach their fullest potential while being in the United States.
That's really awesome. Like, that's really, really cool. Like, I mean, it's awesome anyways, but like, I think about even like my father, like he married, I think I told you my stepmom is white American. So like they got married in the DRC, but anyways, and then when they came over here, like my father was a professor in the Congo and stuff, but then he came here and same situation that you're describing, had to basically start all over again. They didn't really recognize his education from the DRC, had to do undergrad all over again. His master's, he just got his PhD earlier this year, but it was like, and the same thing, he went from being a professor to now he's like delivering newspapers or whatever, just to kind of do something while he has to go back and redo school. And I don't remember what his emotional state was because I was a kid, but I'm pretty sure, yes, it was pretty hard and pretty devastating to go from being a well-known professor in the DRC to, coming here and, having to basically start all over again. So I think that's really cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, I've seen it time and time again. And then the Compassionate Leadership Project is a project of ours as World Roots Culture Exchange to help build a global network of leaders who are dedicated toward leading with compassion. And so we're developing some leadership trainings as well, focusing on nonviolent communication strategies, coping skills for stress, anxiety, and depression, and really just helping people utilize those skills and give them leadership training and give them skills through easy to understand videos that can take small concepts for implementation over, build some healthier habits for everybody, because honestly, we all need it.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think that's awesome. And something else that, I'm gonna have to follow up on because I'm like, ooh, I want to get involved with that too. I'm like, that sounds really cool to be involved in, and like definitely would make a difference for a lot of people.
For a lot of people. I mean, I've seen through some of my, I guess, work history is I've worked for the American Red Cross for over 15 years as a biomedical charge. Essentially, if you think of blood donation and all the different types of components you can create with blood, that's what I specialize in, is taking in blood donors, doing the medical screening, physical exams, and then collecting a number of different types of products. And then 7 of those years, I also worked for Preble Street Teen Center and the teen shelter. Oh.
There you go.
So for 7 years working with homeless youth, I saw a number of different incidents as well that could have easily been resolved with the combination of nonviolent communication and de-escalation skills, not just with the youth, but with authorities of various sorts, who sometimes would come in an escalating manner already. So I see this being able to work with anywhere from young children to adults, firefighters, police officers, and among all different cultures, where it might be a transition also from some of the cultural boundaries that we have in the US. So giving some parenting skills and how to work within the system that we require people to work and live within.
Yeah. I mean, that's huge right there, because parenting in other cultures and then coming here and parenting your children who, who are from another culture, live in another culture, but then parenting them in this culture, that right
Yeah.
there, that's probably a whole thesis. So, yeah,
Exactly. And a lot of the time while trying to learn a new language
exactly.
and make ends meet, making hardly anything for their family.
Right.
So, there's just so much work. And we're lucky in Maine that we do have a lot of resource options available to various communities, but at the same time, even just learning what those are can be a challenge,
Yeah.
and not and getting connected with those different services. And yeah, there's so much work, but if each of us just do one small thing, or even just lead with compassion within our own household with our pets, with the people we interact with, I really believe that we'll be able to move forward in a positive direction.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much. You know, I yeah,
Welcome.
like just like our conversation over the phone, I was like, okay, I'll let you go this time because I wanted to like keep talking and hearing more and hearing more. So you and I will chat offline, of course. But yeah,
Yeah,
thank you so much for coming and
for
formally
having
officially.
me.
Yeah, like it's been great. I love hearing about it. I love hearing about everything that you're doing in various communities, actually, it sounds like. So I
Well,
love.
and I just want to honor you for everything that you're doing as well. I've been following you for a while as well, and seeing what you're bringing as far as perspectives within the fashion industry as well is super exciting.
Oh,
So I'm
thank you.
extremely honored to be a part of this with you today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that so much. And yes, you are now part of our family. So we look forward to everything. And like I said, I will take myself out of my comfort zone. But one of the things that I really want to say also to you that I appreciate is that like I'll admit, and I think I've admitted this before, like I had a very like narrow view of the pageant world. And it's like as I'm getting to know more and more people, people like you and the other people that I'm getting to know, I'm like, you guys are doing some really cool things. And it's like, and a lot of them are saying, well, yeah, like some of the stuff we were doing before, or we had kind of started before, but once we were in this world and we had a different platform and things like that, like it's been able to help us like, take what we were already maybe passionate about it to a whole other level. And so it's like, honestly, for me, it's also an education to be, about it and about that world because, I'm transparent. Like I had a very narrow mindset and view of it. Like I'm very transparent about that. So it's really cool to
I
me.
think really a lot of people do,
I
though.
think a lot
You're
of people
definitely
do.
not alone.
But that's one of the reasons, that's one of the things I love to do with Worthy. And it's one of the reasons why I love doing this within Worthy is because when you hear people and you actually listen and you hear people's stories, like it's first of all educational, but it opens up your mind even more because it's like,
Mhm.
oh, okay. And then in situations like with you and stuff, and like it's like, okay, so like I could take this or take where I am or take and like turn it into this, or maybe it could help, pivot this or something like that. And I think it's important to hear that there isn't just like this one straight road that you have to follow with it, well, within life, but especially within this industry, like
Right.
you can, there are so many different directions, any direction you want to go in. So I think it's important to hear people's stories. And because I always say, like, don't limit yourself, don't put yourself in a box like this is all I do and this is all I can do. So yeah, I just wanted to say that too, is that I appreciate that, the mindset shift. Oh man, but no, it's been great catching up with you, and
So great.
I look forward to chatting with you some more, and I look forward to all your projects. Anything.
Thank you. Right back at you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.